pasta's in the fridge, but the pasta has Wi-Fi apparently, so I'm chatting with him.
Wait, what?
It's code, it's code, you wouldn't understand.
Yeah.
It's Italian code. Francesco is on his way to Paris right now, to then go to Denver, where there's the SIGGRAPH. And before the SIGGRAPH, there's another event called DigiPro, where he's going to present the brushstroke tech that we made for gold at a pipeline conference. So now we're making the presentation.
That's quite early.
Yeah, well, yeah, yes.
So on the project goal, the reel, we're mostly done with the film shots themselves. They've been fine-tuning some reflections, water effects, but most of them are like done or 99%. We've started working on the breakdown shots, as in making the final screen grabs. Hjalti has been editing things a lot of back and forth between him and Francesco to figure out what to put, what's the rhythm going to be like.
There was a lot of shots that were just mock-up shots, so they were never really like fully made. So yesterday I spent the day to try to kind of make those actual shots in like the proper way so it fits our pipeline. Andy put them through the render, so now we actually see what it looks like in context, which is fantastic. The original idea was that we would see in the beginning Simon work on making the shader for the ocean, and then that would expand into the entire ocean. The camera would pull back and kind of look up, and we would find this little boat on the ocean. So Francesco changed that. So instead, we're gonna have Vivian do this time lapse of her painting a cloud, and then we kind of come from that time lapse down and we see the big ocean and the boat. And I'm trying to make it kind of fit together so it feels like we were witnessing an artist making something with Blender, but then we kind of transitioned into seeing the final version of that product, and oh, wouldn't you know it, we're in the actual film right now.
I've been ramping down gold quite a bit since all the shots in terms of animation have been made, but there were some shots that required some post grease pencil effects on top. Me and Vivian were assigned to do a 2D animation pass on top, kind of like enhancing all of those shots with some extra effects on top. So every frame I basically add some streaks on top of the glowy parts here, and that will give it that like motion blur effect with paint strokes.
So we can now shift gears towards the breakdowns. So there is a breakdown of the boat, of Mikasa, and also a little section where we showcase the reef. In the last couple of weeks, I took a couple of shots that Hjalti prepared for me and I rendered them, namely the reef breakdown. So it's a very seamless blend from a breakdown to the actual shot where Mikasa is swimming towards the reef. I would say 90% there in total.
For the effects, there's only one more shot left for me to wrap up, which I'm struggling a little bit with because it just keeps exploding. The beach shot in the end where the waves are crashing into the rocks and on the beach. I had some initial setup at some point where I just tried to deform the water surface in a way that kind of looks like waves, which wasn't really working out super well in my opinion. So I scrapped all of that, what I had in the beginning, and then went for a different approach where I would do some custom simulation based on curves that are rolling over the beach surface and then colliding with the rocks and then being influenced by how that works, and then they would expand from their starting position in a natural way with a simulation and then roll back into the ocean. And then there's a whole bunch of layers of brushstrokes on top of that that create the foam, having like a front of the wave where it's colliding with the sand, where it's like a little bit foamy. When it crashes into the rocks, there's a bunch of spray of brushstrokes that are white. Overall worked pretty well from the beginning. I was pretty happy with like how it looked, but from the beginning there was always a little bit of flickering, where there are sometimes just brushstrokes that are doing their own thing. Going up in the air, taking a lot of attention for themselves, which they shouldn't. So now I'm trying to get rid of them, it sounds a lot easier than it is because I don't actually have control over each individual brushstroke because they're all generated. So I need to make the system identify them somehow or just avoid them in the first place. That's kind of where I've been going back and forth, but now I'm starting to do more and more drastic measures to just get rid of them because I want to get this over with. I'm gonna kill them with fire and masks. There it is, it's gone. No one's ever gonna know.
Gee, Simon, what did you do to get your compositor work so fast?
Wow, well, I'll have you know, this runs on 4.2 with the latest GPU accelerated version of the compositor.
Amazing.
Slow?
It is literally much faster than before, right?
Yes, I would say approximately 10 times.
Approximately
Not
10.
more.
More than 10 times. I can't believe that. It's so fast.
Well, if you can't believe it yourself, then just download Blender on blender.org, Blender 4.2 with the new accelerated feature of Blender 4.2.
I will do so right away.
Why is it so slow? It's already on GPU. And then we can fully go into the breakdown stuff. That's also going to be very interesting to just figure out how we can best showcase all the tech that went into the production. Showing how the cracking tools were working, where Julian was painting in the cracks on Mikasa. And yeah, just seeing how we can present that in a nice way that is kind of still cinematic and fits into this very catered, nice breakdown that's also like visually pleasing. At the same time show a little bit what went into actually working with the tools. Gonna see an exploded whale? The eyeballs are still there.
Can do better.
And on the side, we've been working on a lot of projects for Grease Pencil to showcase the Grease Pencil 3 that's coming up. So Rick has been working on a couple of those. Bo has been working on something also around cause, a void of color. Pablico was working on his own thing. And the idea is to test tools, but also see what type of projects the studio likes to get done right now. So we're still restricting it to constraining it to small things.
We've been in this kind of production lock for the longest time, and now it's so cool to see these little creative little pools popping up here and there, especially with Grease Pencil because it has such a fast turnaround, so people can draw something and then you see the results immediately. It's not like one of those big productions where you need to wait weeks and weeks until the layout is done and then weeks and weeks until something is animated and then rendered. So I would say it's pretty cool to see it happening here and there.
Move your...
Dude, I'm just back from holiday.
I'm just talking slow. Create a pose. Move that.
So most of the team is on vacation right now, and we're basically done with all the main work on the reel. It's all rendered, it's all edited. There are maybe some small tweaks to be done here and there. But other than that, we're just waiting for the composer to finish the music. And while that's happening, I'm making a little package with all the tools and assets that we've been preparing for the brushstroke style, all this painterly stuff that we developed for Gold, and making a little add-on for people to just pick up the tools and use them very easily without having to know exactly how everything works, to just start painting on their assets basically in a way that it just works exactly the same as what we've created for the production. The idea is that we publish the tool on the extensions platform for everybody to use. Then there's going to be a workshop where I go over how to exactly use the tools on an actual asset, going through the whole shading process with this painterly style. And yeah, we're going to publish that on studio.blender.org on our platform with all the other stuff and the files that we created for the production once the production is over and we publish the reel and everything.